Behind me, I have the world's best-selling car last year globally. Over 1 million units sold. This is the Tesla Model Y. In this case, it's the performance version. My own car, I have been driving it for 2 years now. I actually have been driving Tesla since 2017, so 7 years of Tesla owning. And I really love their cars, and there's a lot of good things and good aspects with the car. But there's also things that really annoys me, and that's too simplified. And I think it can be things that even stops new buyers from choosing Tesla, and actually also annoys a lot of current owners. So I have hacked my car, or more properly, enhanced it to make it better and to get rid of some of those pain points. Let me show you. Hello and welcome to It's Only Electric. Today we're gonna look at something called the S3XY Knob. First off, do you see any difference inside the cabin? I mean, it's always very clean and tidy in a Tesla Model Y. Not a lot of buttons, control stalks, etc. Very loungy, living roomy, or some may call it Spartan. Let me just give you a hint. Focus on the mid console. This is kind of a control panel that gives you some extra hardware buttons. 4 hardware buttons, 1 scroll wheel with a AMOLED screen, also pushable. So a control screen, control panel for using functionality that's usually hard to use. So I have got this for free from Enhance. Enhance is the manufacturer of this, and I have actually used it for over a month now, and this is one of few permanent accessories I actually use in my car. As you see, it's very standard in here. The only thing outside this one is a scratch resistant screen cover. Everything else is standard. So this is the only enhancement. Let me walk through what it is, how it works, why you should have it, what I use it for, my favorite aspects and functions. Let's start. Let me just dig into the S3XY Knob itself. This is a control panel, a customizable control panel that adds physical buttons to your car. And it is fully customizable, so you yourself choose what every single button should do. And there's 4 buttons around this scroll wheel with a AMOLED screen in the center, also pressable. Now I lock the car, for instance. You choose what you want to map every single button for, and there is up to 3 different sub-menus with up to 5 functions per sub-menu. So 15 different functions are possible to bind to this one, and you actually customize it with your phone, with the application on your iPhone or Android phone. Very easy to customize and set up. One example is, for instance, opening the rear door, the left door. Maybe smart to have if you are driving a taxi, or new people that aren't used to the digital button actually for opening the door, missing the actual door latch. Smart feature. Another cool thing is adjusting the region, the amount of region. That's not even possible to adjust directly on the screen. So if you press that one, you can actually adjust the level of region from 0% coasting all the way up to 100% in 4 steps. That's not even possible to do on the screen. Really cool feature. You can also activate the preheating functionality, and it shows the actual temperature of your battery pack. That's also not possible to see on the screen. Cool features, and this is just some examples. I use it, for instance, to light up the interior lighting, turn it off, open the glove box, opening the passenger doors, activating the seat heating, for instance, changing the dry mode. That's also several steps on the screen. First off, you press the menu, and then in the menu You actually navigate to pedals and steering and change it between chill and sport, for instance. With this one, it's only one press away. This is just examples. But it's all up to you what you want to utilize and use every single button for. Very convenient. And my recommendation would be to go for the things that you use the most and the things that's hard to find on the screen whilst driving. There is a built-in vibrator into the section knob. Doesn't sound like a car accessory anymore, but it is. The section knob has a built-in vibrator. And you can choose the intensity of the vibration whilst pressing the buttons. I have gone for turning it off totally because I don't think it's necessary. You can also customize the ambient lighting, the intensity of the lighting, but also the color schemes. And on top of all this, there is something called smart behaviors. And that's functions or behaviors that you program with your application on the phone to the commander itself. You don't need a section knob for that. And there is a couple of killer functions in that one. And that's actually the things I use most. First thing is opening the frunk. I mean, if you own a Tesla, it is a bit of a hassle to open the frunk, especially if you have a cables there. You need to either go and open the car, jump in and press the screen. So it's easy if you sit in the car. But if you have been out shopping, for instance, then you need to bring up your phone, start the application, open frunk, the Tesla application. That takes time and is a bit too messy. What I have done is that I have used a smart behavior for that instead. So if I hold the door handle for 4 seconds, it will open the frunk automatically. This is one example of a smart behavior, and one of the best if you ask me. But the really best one is amazing, and it's really mind-boggling that Tesla hasn't enabled this by default. And it's regarding the autopilot. I'm going to show you that. But what happens is that normally when you drive on autopilot, not enhanced or full self-driving, just autopilot, and you switch lane, it deactivates the autopilot. Very annoying because you always need to reactivate it, especially on long road trips. That gets a bit annoying, and sooner or later you will probably stop using autopilot if you switch lanes a lot. And the cool thing is that there is a smart behavior to get rid of this problem. And what it does is that it actually reactivates the autopilot after a amount of seconds. It's customizable. I use 2 seconds, I think, 2 or 3 seconds. And when you switch lane, after the selected amount of seconds, it reactivates the autopilot. So convenient, so good. This should really be a standard feature in the autopilot software, but it is not. I mean, a lot of other manufacturers have this already, but I'm really glad to say that this little commander really solves one of the biggest headaches, one of the biggest issues with Tesla's autopilot. I have been driving Tesla for a long time now, and this is by far the most annoying feature or missing feature of all time. This is something I use daily, and from now on I can't really live without it because it makes the driving so much easier, so much more convenient. So let me just demonstrate the auto reactivation of the autopilot. Let's activate it, double tapping the right lever. Autopilot is now active. Keeping my hand on the steering wheel works as usual. So soon I want to overtake. I signal to the left, manually drive to the left lane. After 2 seconds, as you saw, it's set to 2 seconds, it reactivates the autopilot without me touching the lever to the right. That doesn't happen without this commander. Let me do that one more time. Signaling to the right, changing the lane, deactivates the autopilot as usual. Stay in the lane, within 2 seconds, reactivates the autopilot. works every time. Let us walk through how this actually and really works. First off, the control panel or the sexy knob itself. This one can't do jack without another very important component. But it's powered with a USB-C port, and you connect it with the included cable into the central compartment. The smart thing though is that you don't lose a USB-C port, because this also has a USB-C output. So if you want to power anything else, you can use this to replicate another port. So no port loss. And as I said, this is not standalone. This, on the other hand, communicates wirelessly with something called the commander. And this is the commander generation 2, so it's probably enhanced since the older generations. And this communicates over Bluetooth wirelessly with the sexy knob. So the commands are actually sent from this one to the commander. And the commander is the so-called brain or heart in this installation. And this one is connected to the ODBC port to communicate with the computer in the car. So it reads information and it also sends commands to the computer via the ODBC2 port. The ODB2 port is placed here at the rear end of the mid console, lower part. You open a lid, connect the included harness and this one to it. Takes a couple of minutes and then you're good to go. And to make everything blend in and work together and to pair these two devices, you need an Android device or an Apple device. And download an application called the Sexy Buttons. And this is that application. And this pairs the devices all together. And this is also used to update the firmware and customize all the functionality, shortcuts, etc. So you need the application, you need your phone to be able to set everything up. If you are missing a instrument cluster, I know that a lot of people needs another screen or wants another screen. This may be the perfect opportunity to add that, because the application also doubles as an instrument cluster. So if you order a phone stand, I don't have that, you can use this as a really informative, customizable instrument cluster. Works perfectly good. Shows you live data, live information, everything you need and more than that. Battery status, state of charge, the actual remaining real capacity, the capacity loss of your battery pack, the temperatures, cell temperatures, the output power on each motor, for instance. So a lot of information for you that's really techy and nerdy is to be found here. So this can be a good reason for adding a second screen to your car. I don't use it as a second screen because for me it's not that necessary and I don't have the stand, but maybe considering adding it. I don't know. I think you understand what the sexy knob is, how it works. I haven't talked about the price point. As I said, I got this for free, but I saw that you can buy it for around 250 euros, so $250 to 2,500 crowns, Swedish crowns, on a discount for the moment. And normally it costs around $300, 300 euros, 3,000 Swedish crowns. It's still a bargain given what it actually brings, and that includes the commander, all the harness, the cables, the USB-C cable for the sexy knob itself. It is a complete package, and the application is of course free to download from the App Store or Google Play. I hope this video could give you some extra information. I normally don't do reviews about stuff that's not cars, but I really think that this is something special and it brings something unique to the Tesla cars, and it really fills and fits into a gap that I think a lot of people see as a weakness of the Model Y or Teslas in general. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I always say, please subscribe, like and engage. Very important. And if you have any questions regarding the product, if you want to ask me something more specific, please go on, write in the comments below. I will try to answer everything that you ask as soon as possible. I also put a link to it into the description. And as I always say, stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.